The NFL draft is a time of great significance for teams as they attempt to build their roster with draft capital. Of course, the higher the pick, the more options available, but that doesn't always mean you get the best player. Scouts spend all year evaluating future talent to help the draft process, but at the end of the day, the draft is a guessing game. The most important position on any roster is the quarterback, often resulting in teams reaching for the position, causing plenty of mistakes. The best quarterback in the draft after time is not always the first one selected. These are the best quarterbacks taken in every draft from 2000 to 2019. Starting off easy with the 2000 NFL draft. It wasn't an uber talented quarterback class with only one passer going in the first round. Future two-time comeback player of the year, Chad Pennington. To find the best though, we have to go to the 7th quarterback off the board when with the 199th pick in the 6th round, the New England Patriots selected, you guessed it, Giovanni Carmazzi.
Giovanni Carmazzi does not own a television and declined to be interviewed. He lives 2 hours north of San Francisco and describes himself as a yoga exercising farmer.
Everyone and their pet platypus knows it was Tom Brady. Calm down. Brady is considered to be the greatest quarterback of all time, and his resume speaks for itself. In 20 years in New England, let me reiterate that, in 20 years in New England, Brady won 6 Super Bowls and was the MVP of 4. Additionally, he has won NFL MVP 3 times, made the Pro Bowl 14 times, and has been named an All-Pro 5 times. He is also a member of the NFL All-Time Team. This offseason, Brady signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the age of 42 in hopes of winning another ring before retirement. Tom seems to be timeless. The 2001 NFL Draft featured one of the most explosive college quarterbacks we've seen in Michael Vick. Vick went on to make the Pro Bowl 4 times and holds the record for career rushing yards by a quarterback. Simply put, he was a dog on the field. But the second quarterback off the board owns the honors, when the San Diego Chargers used the 32nd pick in the 2nd round to select Drew Brees. Brees spent 5 years in San Diego that included an impressive Pro Bowl 2004 season. He signed with the New Orleans Saints after a franchise-tagged season, and the rest is history. Brees led the Saints to their first franchise Super Bowl while being named the game's MVP. He's made 12 additional Pro Bowls and been named an All-Pro 5 times. Brees owns numerous NFL career records, including passing yards, completions, touchdowns, and completion percentage. There were 3 quarterbacks taken in the first round of the 2002 NFL Draft: David Carr, Joey Harrington, and Patrick Ramsey, all of which flamed out in the pros. The next quarterback taken was pass-around Josh McCown, best known for playing for pretty much every team in the NFL. He had a solid career, but ultimately the best from this class was the 5th quarterback off the board when with the 108th pick in the 4th round, the Jacksonville Jaguars selected David Garrard. He didn't have a great career, but better than the rest of his class. Garrard spent 9 seasons in Jacksonville and most recently played for the Jets in 2013. He made a single Pro Bowl and passed for 16,003 yards and 89 touchdowns to only 54 interceptions in his entire career. If you think this quarterback draft was lousy, buckle up. We don't have to go far to find the top quarterback from the 2003 NFL Draft. While being the first quarterback off the board doesn't mean you're the best, in this draft it did. With the first overall pick, the Cincinnati Bengals took Carson Palmer. Palmer had a lengthy, impressive career. He spent 8 seasons in Cincinnati before spending a brief 2 years with the Oakland Raiders. Palmer finished his career in Arizona with the Cardinals, where he played for 5 years before retiring in 2017. He made the Pro Bowl 3 times and was an All-Pro. Palmer is ultimately remembered for being in a select group of elite quarterbacks that never won a Super Bowl. Palmer is a member of the Cardinals Ring of Honor. We have arrived at the best quarterback draft of the century, the 2004 NFL Draft. This draft was loaded with high-end quarterback talent. Eli Manning went first overall to be traded for the 4th selection, Philip Rivers. Both are potential Hall of Famers, with Rivers excelling in the regular season but failing in the playoffs, and Manning managing to put together 2 incredible Super Bowl runs despite struggling in the regular season for most of his career. To find the best quarterback of the draft, however, we have to go to the 3rd quarterback taken off the board with the 11th pick by the Pittsburgh Steelers when they selected Ben Roethlisberger. Roethlisberger has led the Steelers to 2 Super Bowl victories and has made 6 Pro Bowls along the way. Rivers has the best stats of the 3, and Manning had the most impressive playoff runs, but Roethlisberger had, you could say, The 2005 NFL Draft was quite the controversial draft over who should go first. Alex Smith went number 1 to the 49ers, but it was the second quarterback taken that went to have the best career. The Green Bay Packers selected Aaron Rodgers with the 24th selection after a historic slide. The move was well worth it for Green Bay. Rodgers led the Packers to the promised land and was named Super Bowl MVP for his efforts. Rodgers is a 2-time NFL MVP, made 8 Pro Bowls, been named an All-Pro 3 times, and he is also a member of the NFL 2010's All-Decade team. Above all of that though, he was Mr. Discount Double Check.
What is this?
Come on now, you said you were a dancer.
Where are you going, buddy? Come on back.
The 2006 NFL Draft was considered top-loaded in terms of quarterback talent, with college stars Vince Young and Matt Leinart on top. But it was the third quarterback taken with the 11th pick by the Denver Broncos that had the best career by quite a margin, and that player is Jay Cutler. Cutler made a single Pro Bowl. He was never an NFL elite, but was a steady starting quarterback for years, better than his draft peers. Cutler accumulated 35,133 yards and 227 touchdowns to 160 interceptions in his career. He spent only 3 years in Denver and is widely remembered for his success in Chicago, where he spent 8 seasons. He came out of retirement and played a year for the Miami Dolphins in 2017. Cutler was recently unveiled as one of the top 100 Bears players of all time. A name you may remember, Jamarcus Russell, headlining the 2007 NFL Draft. He was a disappointment in the pros to say the least, much like most of the quarterbacks taken behind him. The second best quarterback in the class was Drew Stanton. Just to give some context of how poor the quarterbacks of this class turned out. It was the third quarterback taken in the draft, Kevin Kolb, who turned out to have the best career. Now, if you're 13 and have no clue who Kolb was, I don't blame you. I'm 20 and still struggle to have any memory of this man. I also seem to struggle with how his name is pronounced too. I apologize.
Idiot.
Kolb was taken with the 36th pick in the second round by the Philadelphia Eagles and went on to have a very mediocre career. After 4 seasons in Philadelphia, he played for the Arizona Cardinals for 2 years. He most recently played for the Buffalo Bills in 2013. In his career, he threw for a mediocre 5,206 yards and 28 touchdowns to 25 interceptions. Not the best year for quarterbacks. Matt Ryan earns the honors as the top quarterback from the 2008 NFL Draft, a class that included future Super Bowl MVP Joe Flacco. Ryan was taken by the Atlanta Falcons 3rd overall and has had a successful career. He is widely remembered for his impressive 2016 campaign where he earned MVP honors. He's made 4 Pro Bowls in his career and been named an All-Pro. Ryan has thrown for 51,186 yards and 321 touchdowns to only 147 interceptions in his career. And who could forget, he once held a 28-3 lead in the Super Bowl. It's possible Mark Sanchez had a more memorable moment in his career, but the top quarterback from the 2009 NFL Draft belongs to the Detroit Lions' 1st overall selection, Matthew Stafford. Stafford has been a staple for the Lions, despite his lack of playoff success. He made a Pro Bowl in 2009 and won Comeback Player of the Year in 2011. His impressive stats include 41,025 yards and 256 touchdowns to 134 interceptions. The 2010 NFL Draft's 1st overall pick, Sam Bradford, was ultimately the best from this class. Bradford left college on top of the college football world, but struggled during his first 5 seasons as a part of the St. Louis Rams. He won Rookie of the Year, but went on to have inconsistent play and deal with injuries. Bradford revived his career in a 1-year stop with the Philadelphia Eagles before going on to play for the Minnesota Vikings for 2 years and the Arizona Cardinals in 2018 before retirement. Bradford had his moments, but was far from elite in his career. Cam Newton shocked the college football world, winning the national championship and the Heisman in his only year at Auburn. He was taken with the 1st pick in the 2011 NFL Draft by the Carolina Panthers and has gone on to have the best career of the class. He had one of the most memorable seasons of my lifetime back in 2015 as he won MVP and led the Panthers to a 15-1 record and Super Bowl appearance that, of course, ended in defeat. Newton has made 3 Pro Bowls and been named an All-Pro. This offseason, Newton was released by the Panthers. He remains a free agent and is adamant about having an opportunity to start for a franchise. Andrew Luck or RG3, the storied debate of the 2012 NFL Draft. Luck is one of the most talented quarterbacks in recent memory, but poor offensive line and injuries led to an early retirement. As for RG3, he wasn't the best quarterback taken by the Redskins in the draft. With the 75th selection in the 3rd round by the Seattle Seahawks, Russell Wilson was taken off the board. There were plenty of worries about his small size. Safe to say, they were wrong. Wilson led Seattle to a Super Bowl victory. He's been named an All-Pro and made 7 Pro Bowls. Wilson's ability to extend plays with his legs is unrivaled. He is still considered one of the best quarterbacks in the league. The 2013 NFL Draft was considered to be a weak quarterback draft. That was 100% correct. Geno Smith was one of the top quarterbacks from the class, but the best was ultimately, stay with me here, Mike Glennon was the best of this class. Glennon was taken by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with the 73rd selection in the 3rd round. He bounced around a lot, but a journeyman quarterback is good enough to be the best from 2013. Glennon spent 4 years in Tampa Bay and has spent a single season with the Chicago Bears, Arizona Cardinals, Oakland Raiders, and will play for the Jacksonville Jaguars in 2020. He has 5,163 yards and 36 touchdowns to 20 interceptions in his career, highlighting a poor class. The 2014 NFL Draft was headlined by Blake Bortles and Johnny Pharmacy Manziel. Ouch. Additionally, Teddy Bridgewater and Jimmy Garoppolo both come from this class and have shown flashes of incredible ability. However, it's the 3rd quarterback who owns the honors of the top quarterback selection in this class when the Oakland Raiders selected Derek Carr with the 36th pick in the 2nd round. Carr has made 3 Pro Bowls and, let's be honest, should have won an MVP trophy if it wasn't for a freak injury. Carr was the man in Oakland for years and has passed for 22,793 yards and 143 touchdowns to 62 interceptions in his career. Much like 2012, the NFL Draft featured a controversial clash for the top pick. While neither Jameis Winston nor Marcus Mariota have turned into stars, nonetheless starters going into 2020, the edge goes to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers' 1st overall pick. Winston has made a Pro Bowl and led the NFL in passing yards last season, but somehow threw for 30 interceptions as well. Like, how do you do that? He is your classic throw it up and see what happens, and it works about half of the time. Winston played 5 years in Tampa Bay and will back up Drew Brees for the New Orleans Saints in 2020. He is uber talented, and if he can figure out how to make good decisions, watch out. Jared Goff or Carson Wentz? The Los Angeles Rams had a tough decision to make and probably made the wrong one taking Goff. In the same draft, the Cowboys found a late gem in Dak Prescott. The Philadelphia Eagles, however, won the luck of the draw with the 2nd overall pick Carson Wentz. Wentz, much like Derek Carr, would have had an MVP season if not for an unfortunate injury. He kickstarted the Eagles in 2017 that went on to win the Super Bowl despite his absence. He has been named to the Pro Bowl and named an All-Pro since entering the league. The first quarterback taken in the 2017 NFL Draft was Mitch Trubisky, not Patrick Mahomes or Deshaun Watson. Mahomes is the easy pick here. He has only started in the league for 2 years, and in those 2 years, he has 9,412 yards and 76 touchdowns to only 18 interceptions. And oh yeah, he has an MVP and a Super Bowl MVP. He is an All-Pro and a 2-time Pro Bowl selectee. Mahomes has one hell of a future ahead. This is only the beginning for him. The verdict for the 2018 NFL Draft would be quite different if we were doing this video a year ago, but after a breakout MVP 2019 season from Lamar Jackson, he gets honors over classmates like Baker Mayfield and Josh Allen. Jackson was the 5th quarterback taken with the 32nd pick by the Baltimore Ravens. He is the best rushing quarterback we've seen since Michael Vick and even broke his record for rushing yards in a single season. Jackson turned around a struggling Ravens team in 2018 and made incredible strides passing ahead of 2019. He made the Pro Bowl and was named an All-Pro. Not bad for a running back.
Not bad for a running back.
It seems a bit unfair picking the best quarterback from the 2019 NFL Draft, but based on last year alone, it has to be Arizona Cardinals' 1st overall pick, Kyler Murray. Murray won Offensive Rookie of the Year and made a big difference for the Cardinals, but realistically, anyone from the draft can have a breakout 2020 season and change everything. Quarterbacks are one of the hardest positions to evaluate, and we can see proof of that in every draft. Major whiffs happen all the time, whether it be David Carr or Jamarcus Russell. It happens, but every so often, you get a surprise diamond in the rough like Tom Brady or Russell Wilson. Draft position doesn't mean everything, but it does help. These have been the best quarterbacks taken in every draft from 2000 to 2019.